Hello, in this lecture we'll talk about the story of the great poem The Knight in the Panther Skin. In a nutshell, we can say that the story is about the adventures of two knights. The first one is Tariel. Tariel is the hero of the story, and his nickname is the Knight in the Panther Skin. And the second one is Abtandil, that is the commander of the Arab armies. In more detail, we can say that the story can be divided into two parts. The first part is the search for Tariel, the Knight in the Panther Skin, and the second part is the search for Tariel's beloved, the son Darajan. In the first part, the search for Tariel, King was the one that is the king of Arabia, and Aftandil go to a hunting competition, and after 3 days they make a break and they sit under a tree, and suddenly they saw a mysterious knight dressed in a panther skin crying by the river. And they were very curious to find out who is that mysterious knight. Therefore, King Mustavan sends servants in order to acknowledge the mysterious knight, but the knight reacts violently and kills all the servants that came to encounter him, and then disappears. Mustavan sends parties across the world in order to find out the mysterious knight, but he became disheartened when he fails. Then Tinatin, that is to say, Tinatin is the daughter of King Ostevan, and she is also in love with Oftandil. Tinatin asks Oftandil to find the mysterious knight, and in return she promised him to marry him. She promised to marry him in return. Oftandil searches the mysterious knight for 2 years and 9 months, and finally he finds him, and the mysterious knight tells Oftandil that his name is Tariel, and he was the commander of India's fleet, and he was also in love with King Parsedan's daughter. King Parsedan is the king of 6 kingdoms of India, and Tariel is Saridan's son, and Saridan is the king of one kingdom of India. So Tariel was in love with Esther Darajan, King Parsedan's daughter, but she was abducted. Esther Darajan was abducted by the demon king, by the Kaji that is the demon king. And from that moment, Tariel became very depressed, and went to solitude in the wilderness with only a maiden beside him. The name of the maiden is Asmat. She was the maiden of Nestan Darajan. After he hears the story of Toriel, he was very moved by the story, and he promises Toriel to help him to find his beloved Nestan Darajan. So that is the first part of the story, and the second part of the story is the search for Toriel's beloved Nestan Darajan. In the first part, after Toriel and Quidon with 300 soldiers go to the country of the Kajis in order to rescue Nestan Darajan from her captivity by the Kajis. And actually it is impossible to infiltrate, to invade to the Kajis country because it is a fortress and they are very strong fighters. But the 300 soldiers with of Toriel and Quidon did the unthinkable, and they succeeded to infiltrate to the Kajis country and to rescue Nestan from her captivity. Actually, she was kept on the top of high-rise building and 24 hours guarded was guarding her to prevent any escape or any one to rescue her. But although that she was kept there, they succeeded to rescue her, and the story has an happy ending in the sense that Toriel, in the sense that Oftandin marries his beloved Tinatin, and Toriel marries his beloved Nestan Darajan. So the story in more detail the story can be divided, as already mentioned before, the story can be divided into two parts. The first part is Oftandin's quest for Toriel, the titular, the knight in the panther skin, and the second part is Oftandin's quest for Nestan Darajan, Toriel's love. So in the first part, that is the search for Toriel, the king of Arabia, Osteban, has no sons, and confers the kingship on his only daughter, the beautiful and wise Tinatin. She has a tender affection for Oftandin, the knight and commander-in-chief of Osteban's armies. One day, Oftandin challenges King Osteban to a hunting competition. After 3 days of shooting game, they encounter a knight crying by a river. He is dressed in a panther skin and kills the slaves sent by the king to contact him, then disappears. Osteban sends parties across the world to search for the mysterious knight, but becomes disheartened when he fails. Tinatin, the daughter of King Osteban, asks Oftandil to find the strange knight in 3 years, promising him her hand in marriage in return. After 2 years and 9 months of searching, Oftandil finds the knight in the panther skin, hiding in a cave with only a maiden for company. His name is Tariel. Tariel is the son of King Saridan, who has the seventh kingdom of India. Tariel served as heir to King Parsedan, king of the other 6 kingdoms of India, for many years, before falling in love with Parsedan's daughter, Nestan Darajan. Tariel wages war with the Katavians to earn the favor of Nestan, but is dismayed to learn that she has already been promised to Khwarazmian prince Khorezm. Tariel couldn't bear the idea of her marriage, and at Nestan's request he killed the suitor. The princess was placed on a boat and set adrift on the seas. Despite Tariel's lengthy search for his love, he couldn't find her. Later, he met Nuruddin Pridon, ruler of Mulgazanzar, who told him that Nestan was alive but trapped on a distant boat. Tariel retired to a cave to live in the wilderness with Asmat, the former servant and messenger of Nestan. Moved by this story, Oftandil promises his friendship and brotherhood to Tariel and agrees to help him find his love, Nestan Darajan. Oftandil returns home to Arabia and tells Tinatin the story of Tariel. Against King Mustafan's wishes, he returns to his new friend Tariel. So we finish with the first part of the story. The second part of the story is the search for Nestan Darajan, Tariel's beloved. In the second part, Oftandil then leaves Tariel to go to the kingdom of Pridon, where he doesn't hear anything new about Nestan. Continuing his quest, he arrives in the city of Bulandshahar. He meets Patman, the wife of the chief Hussein, who falls in love with him. Oftandil, sensing she knows the fate of Nestan, succumbs to Patman's seduction. She tells him she has been keeping Nestan at her place, and as Nestan was promised to the king's son, she helped her escape, but in her flight, Nestan was abducted by Kaji, the demon king. Oftandil then returns home to Pridon and to the cave of Tariel, and later all the 3 friends, that is to say Oftandil, Tariel and Pridon, decides to go to the country of Kaji with an army of 300 men to find and deliver Nestan. When she is released, all return to Arabia, where King Mustafan forgives Oftandil his flight and breaking the king's order. They all celebrate the marriage of the latter, that is to say, Oftandil with the king's only daughter, Tinatin. They then leave for India, where Tariel marries his love Nestan. Pridon also returns to his homeland, and the 3 friends reign happily with prosperity and generosity in their respective realms. Okay, thank you very much.